around Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, Mindy had been trying a couple of new blood pressure medicines, and they were not working. She would like try one for a week, and then see if there was change, and her doctor came. They talked for a while, and she said that she told me that she had explained our situation. I'm sorry, can I back up?
Yeah.
In October, I think it was September 30th. Wayne showed up at the house.
Okay. That's your father?
Yeah.
Okay.
He showed up with his brother. I was shut. It was kind of first thing in the morning. I was.
What's his brother's name?
Chester. I think it was by Chet.
Chet. Okay. And what's his last name?
Kassotis, yeah.
What were they driving?
They were driving a white SUV, a Subaru rental. It was the day that a hurricane was supposed to hit Savannah, but it ended up taking a bit north.
They were like a hot room?
What?
We like a hot room?
Yeah. Yeah. So what I was kind of coming out of the bathroom. I had coffee, and I saw there were shades in the front of the house. I saw somebody there, and I just assumed it was the house's owner coming to see if there had been storm damage.
So you saw him through the shades?
Yeah, I didn't realize who it was. Opened the door and was terrified. They asked to come in. I said absolutely not. I asked how they found me. Wayne said that he had hired somebody, and it wasn't that hard. He said he wanted me to come with him somewhere to talk. There was the house next door was under construction, and there were workers there, and they started making a racket, and he and I, it distracted him, and I shut the door. I wanted to leave immediately.
And explain to me, why are you deathly afraid of him?
I thought the last time I'd seen him, he'd taken a baseball bat.
Exactly. From the baseball bat.
Yeah.
So that's what I used to. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm just trying.
Yeah. No.
Had he ever hit you prior to that?
No.
Okay. What was his reason then, you think, for hitting you or attacking you?
I don't know. Things had gotten very bad with the family, and I never quite understood it. It started with my brother Chris. Kind of this very antagonistic relationship, antagonistic attitude towards Mindy. And when I tried to like set some just very basic boundaries, like, hey, I'm not going to talk to Chris, and I want you to respect our relationship. That was when things kind of jumped off. I mean, even when we were living with Frank and Megan, I think everybody in that house got calls or texts or emails from him trying to figure out where I was.
Okay. So after that, did they leave or?
Yeah, so he left. I went out the back. As is kind of, I guess, something that happens in Savannah, you have these almost alleys behind each street. So I went out the back door. We locked the doors. Mindy had her phone. I went out the back door and walked around the corner to where there was 2 blocks up. There's a hospital where there was normally security sitting in the parking lot, and Jim picked me up from there. We got it. He said he didn't think we should be moving right away. Thought it was a bad time.
So Jim lives in Savannah?
I don't know where Jim lives.
But I mean, he just showed up right then? Or?
Yeah. He appeared to be in the area.
Okay.
It was not a long time.
Okay.
He brought me to a Target so that I could buy like a little video camera, like one of those security cameras. He said, this will make you feel safer. Like they're going to be leaving the area, I think. Told me to contact the Savannah Police Department, file a report so that if he showed up at Mindy's mother's place of business, that she could both tell like the front desk like, hey, this person shouldn't be allowed in, and like please call the police. Like you can reference this report.
Okay.
Which I did.
Okay.
So I made a report with the Savannah Police Department at that time. Okay. Now, Thanksgiving week. I think it was the day after Thanksgiving. I believe it was that Friday. Her blood pressure had been really bad, and she said she'd had a long conversation with the doctor about the fact that we felt like we'd been stalked for years. We were very worried. I wanted her to go to the emergency room. She had at this point, I think, 3 pretty bad emergency room visits in a row. She had one way back in early 2017. She had hurt her back, and we went to the ER at Fort Belvoir, and the doctor treated her like she was there, like drug seeking, basically. And she was in horrible pain. So four bad ER visits, and that summer, July 2017, she had an abscess in her mouth that was in a lot of pain, and we went to an emergency room. It was basically like go see a dentist. And she's like, I just want antibiotics until the dentist opens. I don't want pain medicine. I just want antibiotics. I'm worried about this infection in my head. We had been to a hospital in Beaufort, the emergency room, when she had COVID in late 2020, and did not feel like the care was good. And then being going thinking she was pregnant and being told that she'd actually lost a baby. She did not want to go to the emergency room.
Okay.
So she talked to this doctor. She said that he was aware of the situation, that he worked at like kind of like a birthing center,
Okay.
like he, it was affiliated, like there were doctors there who had admitting privileges, but she thought she'd be more comfortable there, and that we would, and she said that we would get her blood pressure under control, and then we would be ready to leave. I was in the process of looking at some apartments for her parents.
Okay.
So
Then what happened?
so he said that he was going to pick her up at some point in the next few days, so that I wasn't driving my car there.
So you wouldn't, I didn't understand, why would you not drive your car there?
Because we were still very worried about being picked
Okay.
up by Wayne.
And that was the doctor saying he would come by?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So I went to look at an apartment. We knew that Mindy's dad had hip replacement surgery coming up, so we were trying to find a place with minimal stairs, or like at least some option to avoid the stairs.
Okay.
So I went out. I think this is now. This is either Friday or Saturday of that week.
Okay.
I went out and I met with one person in Savannah. It would not have worked for him. I then drove out to Hilton Head, and she told me that she had fallen twice, and that she was having some bleeding, like she'd had kind of breakthrough bleeding at points that were, she said that the doctor told her this was completely normal, like 20% of women will have some level of bleeding throughout their pregnancy.
Okay.
So I was in Hilton Head. She said, I said I was worried, and I was going to come right back. She said that the doctor was on the way, and would be back shortly. That she would be there. That she would be there shortly. That she would let me know. She sent me a message that she had been checked in. That like they were going to figure out over the next couple of days how long she was going to be there. And
Did she say she had checked in?
Yeah.
And this was the week roughly of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, this was either Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I went back to the house, and she wasn't there, and let Jim know that she was going to this birthing center with this doctor that she had been working with, and he told me so Frank and Betsy were not there. They had gone to Hilton Head for the holiday.
Okay.
Matthew works at a kind of Cajun restaurant down there called Kenny B's. They like fried turkeys or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he can make extra money if he's there for that. So they were down there together. Jim told me when they came back that he'd prefer, while we were figuring out what was going on, not to tell them that she wasn't in the house. That he didn't want them saying something. He was uncomfortable with the setup of her being elsewhere when we had issues just shortly before. I talked to her. We were texting. We texted on and off Sunday. She seemed.
What do you recall what her number was?
I don't recall her number.
Do you call your number?
No. We switched numbers a lot.
So it was on the Signal app?
Yeah, it was on the Signal app.
Okay.
No, we switched numbers a lot throughout this time, just
Okay.
because we were, you know, if I had one too long, I would start getting texts on it saying, I found your new number, I'm going to kill you. That I assumed that I assumed were from Wayne.
Okay.
And they came back Sunday afternoon. Monday or Tuesday, I woke up to a message saying that, that she had talked to them and they felt like she was going to be there at least an extra couple of days, and that we should be prepared to depart the area as soon as she was released. I was asked to, maybe this was Sunday. First, Sunday I was asked to get all our stuff in order, to pack everything up, which was no small task. We had a bunch of stuff.
Who asked you that?
She did. So she said hey, can you get things packed up just so we have it ready to go.
Okay.
So I went.
So what did that include?
I mean, it included, we had taken some personal effects with us when we initially left Alexandria that were, things that were important to us, but all our clothes,
Okay.
books, electronics, all toiletries. She had a lot of makeup.
You didn't have a U-Haul for it.
Yeah, no. So I figured that at this point I had a Ford Explorer that I had gotten while we were there. I got my Georgia driver's license. I had purchased a new Ford Explorer. And with it had a third row seat that you could knock down and create a decent amount of packing space. So I started repacking all of our stuff that had been unpacked for months.
So when did you get that Explorer?
July or August,
Okay.
Late July, early August.
Where did you get it from?
J.C. Lewis, maybe.
Okay. And I guess the big question, how did you pay for it?
So at this point, I had received a sum of money that Jim had told me that he was helping procure.
Okay. And how did you receive that money from Jim? Was it cash?
No, it was wired. It was wired to my bank account.
Okay. So you just wired the money to J.C. Lewis?
I actually took an Uber out there and got a cashier's check, and then
Okay.
and then brought it to them.
Okay. All right. So you got that. She wanted you to pack up and pack up everything.
Yeah, and then either Monday or Tuesday, I'm a little unclear which.
Okay.
I woke up to a message saying, actually, take 2 Tupperwares. So we had most of our stuff. We had a couple large duffel bags, and then we had a lot of the is Tupperware the right word? I feel like that's for food.
Plastic.
Yeah, like plastic, like a ready-made, like those things.
Okay.
I woke up to that. So I woke up to saying like pack 2 of those in one. Put some clothes of mine. Extra toiletries for me. Things that I would need for a week or two, basically. And hers, she wanted something similar. She wanted some clothes, some dresses, some sweaters, toiletries, books.
And this was her signaling the knew this.
Yes.
Okay.
Like her Kindle, like some books, some like she showed those like adult coloring books.
Okay.
Her medicine, and last week I picked up a new prescription for Synthroid. So she asked that I put that in there, and said that I was going to meet somebody. I was going to get a call from somebody, and he would tell me where to drop those off, and that that they would be with her so that she could use them, and then we would have them.
Okay.
So I did that.
When you say you did that, you just got the containers ready? Or?
I got the containers ready. A man called me, said, "Hey, can you come drop these off?"
And you didn't know who that was?
I didn't know who he was. I assumed he worked with the clinic. He said he understood that we were worried. Would I turn off my phones and use a GP, like an old school GPS unit that we had?
Okay.
I said yes. He gave me the coordinates. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but
Do you remember where it was at?
I don't. It was a little outside Savannah, but I don't know much about it. I dropped off the containers with him.
Do you remember if it was on a paved road or a dirt road?
I think it was. I think there was dirt. I don't know if that was just the driveway though. I don't know. It was.
And describe him to me.
A little shorter than me, probably 6 feet tall. Youngish, like in his probably early 30s. Curly red hair.
Okay.
Fairly close cropped. I dropped it off. I asked if he needed anything else from me. He said no.
And so you said curly red hair with white nail?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, white male.
What vehicle was he driving?
I don't know. So I went to a house that I thought was his.
A house on a dirt road, and you just had coordinates.
Yes.
You didn't have an address.
I did not have an address. He said it was a little hard to find with an address on GPS.
Okay. So you dropped those off.
I dropped those off. I spoke to. I drove back. I spoke to Jim. I said,
Roughly how long did you think you had to travel to get there?
I'm not really sure. No, I
I
mean,
mean, you took some paved roads naturally from where you went.
30. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm not really sure where he was.
30 to 45 minutes. Was it daytime or night?
It was daytime.
Okay.
It was early in the day. I came back.
When you say early in the day.
Yeah.
What's early? Like, is early to me 4 a.m.?
No, not that early.
So,
Probably 9-10 in the morning, something like that.
okay.
I got back and I spoke to Jim, and I said, I felt that again I was in a bad situation, saying that, not saying that Mindy was elsewhere.
But you didn't ask when you dropped the containers off to see her.
No, but my understanding was that was just some guy's house, like
Okay.
that was not where she was.
Okay. And that this guy was supposed to deliver the bins to
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
What did the bins look like? You said like a ring, maybe what? You know what color they were?
I think one was gray and one was black, but I'm not really sure.
Okay.
We went through, we were we were moving around for a couple of years. We went through a lot of bins.
So that's kind of, you used those bins usually and moved around.
Yeah.
That's how you move.
Yeah. We had some clear ones at one point that just seemed to shatter.
And when you say that y'all have these bins or tubs or Tupperware, whatever, how many are we talking? Are you like 15, 20?
No, not that many.
How many would y'all normally have? Because I understand y'all have to move quickly.
Yeah, 8 to 10 of them, and then like
But when you were in Hilton Head, you had how many?
We didn't have anywhere to put anything
Uh-huh.
except for there, so they were kept in Frank's garage.
Okay.
It's one of those houses that's got the ground level is just a garage, and it's got the living levels that they're running the floors. Yeah, it's running the floors.
Okay. All right. So 8 to 10 would be a common.
Yeah, I think
Just to throw them in the move. Okay.
Yeah.
But when we bring them, and did they have lids on them?
Yes, yeah. All of our beds had lids. Had lids. Sorry.
Okay. So you carried the stuff out of there. You dropped it off to him.
Dropped it off to him.
You don't remember like how you traveled there. Like did you
No.
take the interstate?
I'm not sure.
Some paid, some don't.
Yeah, no. I mean, I didn't go out much while I was in Savannah.
Okay.
Like just to get.
But he was on a long dirt driveway.
I believe so. Yes.
Describe the house to me.
It was brown with yellow trim.
Okay.
Not a huge house or anything, but
Just a normal house.
Yeah, kind of like I don't know the house terms that you call that, like a rambler or something.
Okay. So new vehicles.
Not that I recall.
Okay. All right. And were your lungs in, or?
Yeah. He came outside. I unloaded them right off the ground. He said he would take them in. I asked if he needed help. He said no.
Okay. Was Rusty with you?
No, he was not.
Okay.
Yeah, Rusty was back at the house.
Okay. All right. And then what happened?
I drove back. I had that morning. I had talked to Jim before I left, saying that I was uncomfortable with Mindy's parents not knowing that she was at the hospital, and he said before I left to say that I was going to, or before they left, they were leaving for work, to say that I was going to bring her to the doctor, and then to say that she was there. He said that he understood it was longer than expected, but even when she's on bed rest, like we could all, it's not a huge house, but we could all hear her like on the phone. Like I felt like I was.
But it wasn't, and when you say hospital, it wasn't traditional.
It wasn't a traditional hospital. Yeah.
So you told them that she was at the hospital?
No, so that morning I told them that I was going to bring her per his instructions.
Okay.
And then this is either Monday or Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then I came back. I talked to Jim again. He said to say that she's going to be there for a handful of days. That we were on the last steps of finding a place for them. We were all I was probably going to be picking her up and departing almost immediately. And that we were going to get them, into a place.
Okay. So basically, you told them that y'all were separating, that y'all would take care of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what day Betsy and Frank came back?
They came back Sunday.
They came back Sunday?
Yeah.
And other than this trip you took to drop off the containers, did you go anywhere else that you recall?
Not that I recall. I might have run out to the store or something, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I got a message asking to pick up a couple things, but I forget.
You know what those things were?
It's like a sweatshirt.
Okay.
I forget what else. But I think it was pretty quick. Like I was running up like just to get something at Publix or CVS, which was within a I mean I could have walked there in probably 10 minutes. But
Where did you normally shop?
like for food,
Mm-hmm.
there's a Publix not far
Okay.
from there. We had we got delivery from there for quite a while, but
Yeah, after COVID, a lot of people changed on me.
yeah. But then when Wayne showed up, we were told that I should go out and get rather than it being like another company that knows where that we're still getting food delivered there.
Another avenue for him to use to find.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you dropped the containers off.
Dropped the containers off either Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
I continued talking with Mindy through Wednesday.
You said your phones were off and you used the GPS. You know what that GPS is now?
I believe it was burned with the rest of my car
Okay.
about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
So you continue talking to her up till Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday. Just messaging back and forth. She said she was feeling better, and Thursday morning I got a call from somebody saying, could I come pick her up that sometime that afternoon. I forget exactly what time.
Okay.
I was given an address in Savannah. I don't recall exactly where it was. I drove out there that afternoon. It was a brick building. Somebody was waiting outside and brought me into, like an office and said that Mindy had passed away.
Okay. You said it was a brick building.
Yeah,
How far away from the house was it?
I think within 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
But I think it was driving through like some neighborhoods, like it wasn't like quick going.
So they brought you in. Did you talk to the doctor or?
I talked to a doctor.
Okay.
I was wearing a white coat.
So white coat.
An older man. Not anybody I had seen before.
And they said she passed from what?
At that point, he said that she just passed away very suddenly, and that they thought it might have been her heart, but they weren't sure.
Okay.
I went back to the house and told Betsy and Frank.
Can you give me, you said you had the address. There's a landmarks in Savannah that are pretty specific. Do you know where the globe's at?
No,
You've never seen the globe?
I don't think I've ever seen the globe.
You mentioned hospital. That y'all were near the hospital?
Yeah, we were near a hospital.
So you traveled, you said 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you remember any other, you said it's in a residential area? And it was...
Yeah, I was driving through residential areas.
Residential areas to get there.
Yeah.
But the building was like an office building?
Yeah, it appeared to be.
So it was a good
It's
business.
like a one level, yeah. Like
So one level. Was there a sign out front?
Not that I recall, but there might have been. I don't know.
What about parking lot? Was it more like
Almost more like a strip mall. Like there was parking like right in front. Like I pulled in and
you remember any of the stores that were in the strip mall?
no.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember passing anything going by there? Like
At one point, I drove through a neighborhood that had like larger, nicer houses. I remember
Okay.
that. I've seen the park in Savannah like once, the famous park, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it the entire time I was there. So
at some point, would you be willing to write a list and attempt to show us the house?
Yeah.
Or show us the location again and find it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because you understand you'll have like an expedition here and you know all about that.
I believe
I
I already requested to waive it.
You wait through the
Yeah.
expedition. Okay. So at some point, you'll be coming back, and that's what I was just making sure you'd be willing to talk to us to try to figure out where that location
Yes,
is.
absolutely.
So you have signed the paperwork to waive extradition.
Yeah, but
Okay.
somebody gave it to me when I checked me in
Yeah,
here.
quick. Usually it takes a few days.
No,
They're ready to get rid of you. You seem like a pretty nice guy to me.
Thank you.
Get it down. Okay, but at some point you'll be able to work with us to show us where you think that
Yeah.
house is.
Yeah.
Okay. Or a business.
yeah.
Can you describe it any further?
And then, I mean, I pulled in. I was,
You said somebody came out.
yeah. So somebody came out of. There were glass doors. He came out. As I pulled in, and brought me right in.
And did they carry you into like a lobby or did they carry you into a room?
I believe there was like a lobby to the left, and then he brought me like into a different like office. But
Okay. Wow. And then they told you that she had passed away.
yeah,
And what did you do then?
I yelled and sobbed.
Okay.
I mean, I was a wreck. He had some paperwork that he had me sign.
Did they give you a copy of that?
No.
Okay.
Um,
And what was the paperwork?
he said it was just releasing her remains and releasing her medical records so that so that I could have those. He said that he was going to that he was awaiting an autopsy, and that I would be contacted with the results of that.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I drove back to the house and told Betsy and Frank.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I don't really recall the rest of that evening.
All right, and that evening, but what did you do next?
The next day, I got a call saying that the autopsy had been completed and that she had a stroke, and possibly brought on by some combination of the high blood pressure and what they said appeared to be COVID-related heart damage.
Okay. Okay. Then what'd you do?
I don't know. I was. I wanted to be gone as as quickly as possible. I didn't want to be in the house anymore. I think sometime early the next week I got her parents into an apartment in Hilton Head.
Okay. So early the next week.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So you drove them to Hilton Head?
Yeah. They packed up their car. I packed up my car with their stuff. We went to a storage unit and their storage unit.
Okay.
They have one right in Hilton Head, and then to the apartment. I moved them in.
Okay.
I drove. I went back. I packed up my stuff. I believe I left that night. I drove to Jacksonville to get mail. I had mail there that couldn't be shipped. So I did
Mail that couldn't be shipped.
It had alcohol in it. A friend had shipped me some beer, but they did it like, the right way, via UPS. And
So you picked up some mail in Jacksonville.
Yep. Somebody contacted me and said that they had cremated her body. I was extremely upset. I thought that I was going to, get to make a decision on where she was sent.
You know who that person was?
Now, he said that the fee was $5,000 payable in cash.
Okay. Did you pay that?
I did. I met him the next day in Montgomery. I withdrew $5,000 in cash and
Montgomery,
Alabama.
Okay.
I believe Montgomery.
And how much? I mean, he's 5,000 cash, and then describe him to me.
He was. I saw him kind of very briefly.
White male, black male.
White male, dark hair, average builds, average height, probably 5'8" to 5'10". I gave him the money. He gave me, a bag with her ashes in it. I had ordered I had overnighted myself an urn, so I had something to put it in.
And where's her ashes now?
I scattered them at Havre de Grace.
Okay.
The Chesapeake was one of her favorite places, and it's considered the mouth of the Chesapeake. I scattered the ashes there, and I dropped our.
Where did you said you had to pay 5,000 cash? Where did you meet him at?
I met him right in downtown. I believe it was Montgomery. It's whichever one of Birmingham and Montgomery is further north.
You mean you like meet at Winky's, or where did you meet?
No, he gave me a street address and just on the side of the road.
Okay. So you met side of the road.
Yeah.
And he got the ashes.
Yeah.
How were they packaged?
They were in a thick, clear plastic bag with then a kind of nicer velvet bag around them.
Okay. What was he driving?
I think an older white SUV, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
That's what sticks in my mind.
But he called and provided you with the address to meet side of the road.
He called.
But you don't remember the address or anything around?
No. I remember it wasn't. It was kind of down. This is my first time in Alabama. I've been connecting, but it seemed like kind of the downtown area. years.
And what else did he give you?
He didn't give me anything else. So he gave me that. I gave him the money.
Did you ever inquire about a death certificate?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, I should have.
Okay. And then what happened?
I drove to St. Louis per Jim's instructions.
Had you told Jim that she had passed away? That he passed?
Yes, I had.
Why did you tell that she had passed? I know mother and father.
Mother and father, they told her brothers, her best friend,
Who's that?
Angela Wynn,
Okay.
a former co-worker of hers, Elizabeth Seeger.
Okay. You said best friend. Who was that?
Angela Wynn.
I didn't write that down fast enough. You
No,
said it.
that's okay. Yeah, W-Y-N-N.
Okay.
Angela Elizabeth. Her prior boss, Joe West, he was kind of hard to get in touch with.
Joe West.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else?
Her friend DJ, I forget, David John, I think is his name.
Okay.
Or David, I don't know.
David something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her friend Anisha, I forget Anisha's last name. Well, Pryor.
Okay. Okay. And so then, after you left Montgomery, you said you went to
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yep.
What did you do in St. Louis?
Filed for a legal change of name.
Okay. And what did you change your name to?
Nicholas Killian James Stark.
And that's what we put on the
Yeah.
form. Okay. Okay. And
We picked out that last name together. We had been given a list of choices from Jim,
okay.
what he thought were fairly anonymous, one-syllable names, and
How can I get in touch with Jim?
I don't know.
Okay. How would you get in touch with Jim?
He would message me daily, and I would respond. His number would change, and then I would just switch to the new number.
I mean, because you said you changed phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when you get out, how are you going to get in touch with Jim, I guess?
I don't know. I haven't been in touch with him for.
Okay. He'd have to find you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you said at first that he told Mindy he was an FBI agent?
Yeah. Yeah, we had both filed online reports about things, and then he showed up at the house.
All right, so you're St. Louis, you've changed your name. Where'd you go from there?
From there, I went to Pennsylvania to see a friend.
Okay.
And then I went to
And who's that friend?
Sam Kolesnik.
I think I'm going to last name.
K-O-L
K-O-L.
E-S-N-I-K.
Okay. Okay.
Now my wife.
Okay. All right.
Pretty quick thing.
And you said it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Had you and her had an online relationship for quite a while?
No.
Okay. When did you meet Sam?
We started talking kind of that fall.
The fall of...
Fall of 2020.
2020?
No, sorry, 2022.
Oh, 2022. So you and Mindy were still together?
Yep.
Okay. How did y'all meet?
Twitter.
Okay. Okay. And so then you kind of, the relationship developed then?
Yeah.
Or,
Yep. I went to Charlottesville to see some friends. We still kind of lived in that area.
okay. And what happened then?
Jim told me to move to Wilmington.
Okay. So when did you get married?
April 21st.
Okay. So you married Sam. Okay. And Jim said move where?
Till to Wilmington,
Okay. In Wilmington, North Carolina?
Delaware.
Delaware, okay. And did you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then where did you move?
Then I was there for a little over 2 months, and then I moved to Pennsylvania,
Okay.
Lancaster area.
You mentioned earlier that your car had burned.
Yeah, so two things happened,
Okay.
which led me to stop talking to Betsy and Frank. We had a conversation, and I had mentioned that I was in Wilmington, and several nights later, I was unpacking some things into the place I was staying. This was in February. And came down, and somebody was in the car. Grabbed a backpack with 2 computers and a phone in it, and took off.
So 2 computers and a phone.
Yeah.
And so they were stolen when?
February of this year, 2023.
Okay. And did you report those stolen?
I did not.
Okay.
I spoke to Jim. He said that he felt it was very suspicious that this had happened. Right after I had told Betsy and Frank where I was, and that he was going to take some time to look through, to look into the situation.
Okay.
Just over a month later, I was driving and my car started acting funny and then burst into flames.
How long had you been driving that day? It's like it immediately started up, you drove in, it burned up?
No, an hour or 2.
Okay.
I was coming down a hill to make a turn. It felt like it was a little harder to steer than it should have been.
Okay.
I felt something a little strange. I smelled something a little strange.
Okay.
That at that point I wasn't sure what it was. Around here you get a lot of farm smell, so
Okay.
that's not unusual. I stopped at a point where it seemed fairly, straight in both directions. It was kind of a windy road. There wasn't a shoulder, and realized there was smoke in the car. I got out. I crossed over, so I was out of traffic, and realized that my phone was on the passenger seat.
Okay.
I opened the passenger door, and fire kind of came out right at me. I hit my head on a tree. I had some burns.
Did you get your phone?
I didn't get my phone.
Okay. You hit your head on the tree, and it had some burns.
Yeah, I burned. I don't know if you can still tell or not. I don't have hair. This eyebrow. I lost a lot of hair on the side of the head. I had some face and neck burns.
And you just told me that I don't want to face now, but that would have been when?
This was March 20th.
Okay, March 20th. All right.
So,
Did you call the fire department, or were you?
I did. I called 911.
Okay.
I didn't know where I was. I had to find a cross street. Police and fire department came out and paramedics. And then we went to the emergency room later that day, and the nurses were really upset. They said that I had burned hair inside my nostrils.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sign that fire has come down the throat, and
Okay.
So I have not, I don't know what caused the fire. It was in the same area that the bag was stolen from, which is something that did raise my suspicion, but at the same time, that last year's Ford Explorers had some fire issues. So
those Ford Explorers.
yeah, they had multiple recalls
Okay.
for
Was it fire in the engine compartment?
Yeah.
Okay.
The gentleman who towed it. I went out to look at it, and it appeared to be. He said it appeared to have started in the passenger side of the engine block, but he couldn't be he couldn't be sure.
The driver said passenger side of the engine block.
Yeah. So I've,
What did your insurance company say?
insurance company seems to think it was mechanical and not tied to that. They just asked at the end of last week for the title so that
Okay.
they could close it out. So that it might not be related at all.
So you haven't got a check yet?
Yeah.
Okay. The same.
Yeah, it's taken a while.
What company is it?
Cure?
Who?
Cure? C-U-R-E? It's a small regional company.
Okay. You might want to change insurance.
Yeah, no, that's I've been told.
Do you remember how much you paid for it?
43, 44.
Okay. You'll probably get like 20.
They said 38. I was actually surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised. Yeah, so shortly after the fire, my friend Cameron Nelson reached out and said that Betsy had called her and said that she had been told I died in an accident.
And what did Cameron tell her?
So Cameron at this point had not, and I had not spoken in a little while. Cameron said that she had not heard from me. She said that Betsy asked if she knew where my will or trust may have been drawn up. And Cameron said she did not know. And
Did you ever call him and tell him you were alive?
I did not. I was a little concerned about where I spoke with Jim. Probably one of the last times we spoke, and I said, why do they think I'm dead? And he said that he had not had any contact with them, and that he didn't know. He didn't know where that had come from. And that he would recommend not contacting them.
When's the last time you talked to Jim?
Last time I talked to Jim was probably sometime that week, last week of March,
Okay.
maybe the following week, maybe the first week of April.
Okay, and when's the last time you physically saw him?
Last time I physically saw him was, I think, the first week I got to Wilmington. He showed up.
Okay. And when was that?
It was the week before, between Christmas and New Year's.
What's the last phone you used to contact Jim with? Do you still have it?
I do still have it, though it doesn't still have service on it.
Okay. So if we needed a number for Jim, we could get it off that phone.
I think so, yeah, it should still be in the signal there.
But did he only communicate you through Signal, or were you get like emails from him, or?
No, I don't think I've ever received an email from him.
Okay. So how did y'all share the software development if you never emailed?
He would send, he can send files through Signal.
Okay.
Do you know what company Jim was selling or brokering the software to?
No.
He wouldn't know.
No, I mean he said different. Like at some points he said Microsoft. At some points he said maybe there would be a government use, but I was never sure, and I thought that was kind of part of the point for him was that he didn't want me to know. Okay. So you should tell me I didn't scatter Mindy's ashes.
What's that?
I didn't scatter Mindy's ashes.
You didn't scatter Mindy's ashes. What about what happened next? What you remember next?
Honestly, things have, things have been kind of quiet lately.
Let me ask you again about Jim, just to make sure I understand. How did you meet Jim?
He showed up at the house one day. I was at work and spoke with Mindy.
Okay. And came to the house where?
Alexandria.
Okay. So and then he kind of followed y'all down and kept following you, and
Yeah. I don't know where he was normally. I don't know where he resides. I don't know.
and he says he's a white male.
White male, probably late 40s, light brown hair, gray on his temples. I don't know. Between 5'10" and 6 foot, I would guess.
Okay.
Fairly slim.
Do you know where he could have been originally from, or what company he worked for?
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't.
He just first introduced as FBI.
Yeah, I wasn't there that day. Later on, when we asked about it, there were So during like 2018 and 2019, there were, there's just, points where things would get like really scary, and we would, and there was like a weekend where he said, he felt that we would be safer leaving the house for the weekend. I think it was a holiday weekend.
So he's just doing this basically for free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he works basically security for free?
Yeah.
Okay. And he moved multiple states?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you saw him in multiple
we've
states?
seen him in multiple states, yeah.
So when we moved, you would see him, he would come and...
Yeah, and I don't know if he
You'd see him in a new location?
we'd see him in the new location. I don't know, I've assumed that he was actually living in the, the low country area, the Savannah, Hilton Head area. When we were there, just because we saw him more often there than we'd seen him anywhere else.